I told you my story, you would hear hope, they wouldn't let go.
Raise your hand if you have ever lost hope. Yeah, it may not be a dramatic thing either, right? It could just be that you've kind of lost your commitments to yourself. It could be that you get up all gung-ho one morning and you're like, I am gonna work out. And then that thing happens and you're discouraged, you're deflated, you're breaking commitments to yourself, and you wonder why. Why do I do the very thing that I don't want to do? Well, that's why I've come up with the rebuilt method, because I truly, from my core heart, want to give you a method to where if you're feeling discouraged, you're feeling deflated and lack hope, you've got some principles to follow to get you back on track. And I'm just going to be talking about 3 of those today. And the 3 are renewing your mind. So the R stands for renew. And then that leads into layered action. And layered action, when you take those steps, actually creates transformation and testimony, which is the T. Some of you here know me through business, or you may have met me through community, right? Or maybe you're just getting to know me while I'm standing right here. But my life was not always the way it is right now. In fact, there were many decades until not too long ago where I truly felt like Job. If you know Job, he went through some trials and tribulations and losses, and so did I. I faced bankruptcy twice because, once wasn't enough. Obviously, I had some things to still learn to be here with you today. I was on food stamps as a single mom, and I'd had multiple surgeries. You raised your hand in the beginning, and I'm feeling like there's something there that probably touched you that you remember right now. Well, in the multiple occasions and challenges I faced when I lost hope, I now see in hindsight that God was actually building a framework for what I'm going to share with you today. So I can share with you some tangible, practical ways that hope can be restored in your life. And that's why I call it the rebuilt method, because you will be rebuilt. So let's start with that R, shall we? Yes or yes? Okay. In my mind, no pun intended, it is probably one of the most important things. And here is why. 99% of what you think makes you up. Right? Think about that for a second. Do you think what you think matters?
Yes.
Like 99%. I wish I could say 100% right there, but it's 99%, yes. So the mind is also known, as I believe, as the soul. Your soul comprises your mind, your will, emotions. So your mind is your thinker, your will is your choices that you make, and your emotions are what you feel, right? And so if there's so much encompassed in your mind, will, and emotions, guess what? Anything that you have become, you can unbecome it. So if you don't like a behavior that you're doing or a pattern that you have created in your life, guess what? Feel empowered. You can change it right now. Okay? So this is a principle that is best really, I know how to illustrate by telling you a little story. The story is in 2017, I had 2 brain surgeries, 6 weeks apart, and to give you some idea of the magnitude of it, it was 47 staples, 52 staples. After my second brain surgery, I literally felt what it was like to maybe feel like a war veteran that come back from combat. That's how I imagined war veterans would feel. And the reason for that is because I felt like a cocoon in my bed, and any stimuli, even if your phone went off right now, it would trigger me. I couldn't handle it. So I knew that the tape in my head, my mind was not my best friend at that moment. In fact, it was working against me. My brain was literally just trying to survive. So I knew enough to know that I had to get out of my head. And that is where the power of external input was birthed in my mind. It's like, if I can control what goes into my mind, then I can control what the output is. So I started listening to audios. I started listening to very positive podcasts like It's a Good Life, the Bible. But here's the kicker. What really turned the dial up, what really changed the results was speaking. Speaking is what changed and manifest true change, because guess what? Your mind and your mouth, they cannot think and say 2 separate things at the same time. So if you are thinking something, speak the truth differently. So that's what I was being given. It was super hard, very hard, because I didn't want to do it, honestly, a damn thing. I was miserable. But I forced myself to speak what I was hearing, and I started to notice a shift in how I felt. So I'm like, all right, well, this is where it kind of takes us into that layered action, right? Things can start compounding, one thing at a time. So I said, well, another powerful question. What can I do next? A lot of the time, right? Maybe it's not this, but maybe it's something in business, right? And you're feeling stuck, and you're like, that's a powerful question. What can I do next? So I assessed my situation. There wasn't much to assess because I was laying in bed. And I said, well, I can wiggle my toes. So that's what I did. I wiggled my toes. And that action led to the compounding effect of then I was able to sit up in bed. Then I was able to have a shower. Then I was able to go to the front living room. Then I was able to sit even on the front porch and feel the sun on my face. And then I was able to go to the end of the driveway. And then I was able to go to the end of the street. Did I feel like doing it? Heck no. No. It was awful. It was like torture. But I did it. But guess what? I changed my circumstance. I was able to get myself into a situation where I could function. And this was over a span of 3 months. This wasn't just a week. This was consistent daily application. So what happened? The T was obviously transformation, and testimony. But what I want to circle back to is there was another moment where I had an incurable disease. I was diagnosed with an incurable disease back in 2015. And this story, I think, really embodies and empowers the true impact of what this rebuilt method can do for you as well. I had neurological Lyme disease, okay? To set the table, I basically would walk out of church and I wouldn't make it to the car because my legs would start doing this. And my young boys at the time, my eldest, would have to help me get to the car. Love that boy, love all my boys. And I would get to the car and I could drive myself enough to get home. I was having seizures. I was very sick to my stomach and things were coming out. And I was at a point where I just didn't know what else to do. But again, fast forward several years later, that light bulb went off and I said, I gotta change what's in here. So I started listening to a healing series. But before that, a pivotal moment happened. A very pivotal moment happened. I was receiving 2 to 7 hours of treatment a day, self-administered medication through PICC lines, and my PICC line got infected. And so I went to my radiologist as I'm laying there on the table. My radiologist said to me, love her to this day, we have to take your PICC line out. And I literally, tears rolling down my face, said, you can't, it's my lifeline. And a very audible voice said to me, I am your lifeline. And I was like, where did that come from? Because it was so real, so real. But guess what? It was. The Lord had spoken to me in that moment, and I have never been the same. That was the day that changed the trajectory of my heart to bring hope to you and people. That's been on my heart ever since that day. And why I'm standing in front of you today. Because guess what? This was 18 months at this point. The PICC line came out. It took about a week for the infection to clear. And guess what was happening? I could not function at all. See, the medication, it allowed me to survive. It didn't allow me to live. So that's where the concept of renewing your mind started for me. Little did I know what I would learn from that day forward. Renewing the mind, I started renewing it in the Word. I started listening to an evangelical preacher called Creflo Dollar who taught on the healing power that we already have inside us. And over the course of about 5 months, I sat in my living room one evening. My boys were asleep. And something inside of me finally was convicted and believed what I was saying. And I stood up and I said, yeah, that is BS. I am healed in the name of Jesus. And I'm not kidding you. I did it just like that. I ain't kidding you. I remember it to this day. And I literally, I tell you, felt the energy from my fingertip come straight down my arm, through my torso, through my hips, my legs, and to my toes. And I knew in that moment, I was healed. Funny story, real quick. I called my doctor the next day and I said, I think I'm healed. And he seen me at my worst. And he goes, oh, Melissa, he got kind of a kick out of me by this point. He said, oh, Melissa, do tell. And I told him what happened. He goes, all right, let's just hold the horses, stop this, but keep doing this. But nonetheless, a day went by, a week went by, a year went by, years have gone by, and that incurable disease is cured. Because of why? Why? Renewing the mind. Taking layered action, taking steps that led to the T within the rebuilt method of transformation and my testimony to its power, so I can stand and have the honor of standing in front of each and every one of you today. Now that's just 3 of the layers of the rebuilt method. There's 7, because I want you to know anything is possible. You are loved. You deserve everything that's coming to you. And you're accepted. You're worthy. And you,
don't make me cry.
you are a gleam of light to those who meet you. And you're an inspiration to the world. Thank you.